Guest this week, our Neutral Milk Hotel, a special acoustic set put together by their lead man, Jeff Mangum, who's with me right now. Hi, Jeff, how you doing?
Hi, good. It's a little tired, but good. Haven't slept for about 30 hours now.
Well, thanks very much for coming in, and thanks for doing the songs. They're sounding
no
good
problem.
already.
Sleep deprivation actually turns out to be a good thing after a while, I think.
I have this scrambled picture in my head of the Elephant Six recording company sitting around drinking tea and talking about psychedelia. Over the last couple of years, we've had quite a few records come over here from America by the Oliver Tremor Control, the Apples in Stereo, Neutral Milk Hotel, the Gerbils, and it's created this picture of one big happy family who go off from the living room to record their separate projects in the rooms aside from the living room, and then come back and send their records out across the world. Could you unscramble that for me, because I'm sure it's not like that whatsoever?
Well, it sort of is like that, actually. I mean, it's actually just like that in a way. I guess now we've just sort of gotten a little bit where we can help each other out a little bit better, helping each other record our records and stuff. But, basically, we all just sort of fell in love with making music together and making tapes for each other. And now that now that Robert can help me produce records and sort of work with me, and the Olivia guys are like recording in my bedroom and mixing in my room and stuff. And I lend my sort of help, and I can sort of give Will random sort of like sound cassettes that I've made that end up sort of bubbling underneath some of his music and things like that. But
could you?
So I guess it's all sort of scrambled in my head. It's sort of like scrambled eggs.
First, maybe, what is the Elephant Six recording company?
I don't really have a definition for it. It's sort of, there just seems to be all these people around me that are constantly making music, and a lot of Elephant Sixes. There's a lot of bands that no one's ever heard of. Like the Clay Bears and Dixie Blood Mustache. I mean, like the Clay Bears, I've had like a double album that's going to be released, and I've been sort of a flag member of the Clay Bears, and lots of people have been. And Dixie Blood Mustache is a 12-piece appliance orchestra. It's all women playing appliances, and a hairdresser and a 2-year-old boy, and I don't know exactly. I can't really explain why it is that like I have like 10 friends that like I really truly love, and like I really love their music, and they happen to have like 10 friends that I feel the same way about, and why I find it to be very strange that like I really honestly love everyone. I found that there must be at least one person that's going to get on my nerves, but
and where
it always seems like it is a pretty happy family.
Where is this all taking place? I mean, is it all in the one town? I mean,
between Athens and Denver right now.
That's quite a distance, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how do you?
But we're used to traveling. We have a mobile home.
And you're based in Athens, is that right?
Yeah.
And the rest of these people, or some of them, are based in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah. But the idea is that we have a mobile home, and so we're going to gut the kitchen and bolt an organ in it, and then find some way to run electricity and get everyone to go around playing in squares and become sort of like a gypsy band. So that'll hopefully bring a lot of it's sort of being like everyone sort of psychologically being together, and then separately musically creating these little worlds for everyone else to listen to. Sort of trying the opposite approach, where everyone sort of throws themselves in with each other's daily lives, like very intimately, from like brushing your teeth to like your bad mood and your good mood or whatever, and becoming a little gypsy band and sing, traveling around the country until we all hate each other and then come home.
And Neutral Milk Hotel is your baby, that's right, isn't it? That it's your project. I mean, the songs are mainly written by yourself. And
yeah, well, I write most of the songs, yeah, but I think that the records and a lot of the music, wouldn't exist without all the guys in the band and Robert, and so it's like I write all of the songs, but I don't think they would be nearly as special to me or to anybody else. Not that I'm claiming that it is special, but I know it's a lot more special to me because of everyone else's involvement in the records.
And you just released this new album, In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, which has a great cover and lovely drawings and illustrations with it. And listening, well, I read the lyric sheet as I was coming here today, and with the pictures, for those listening at home, one of the main pictures which kind of ties in with the album title, In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, is of an old style of plane which is part gramophone player and part plane, and it's flying over a sea maybe of milk, maybe, I don't know. But Edward Lear and Lewis Carroll came to mind. Is that all part of your vision?
Oh, you mean like a little Candyland, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Well, there's like little bits of Candyland, and then also the little snow shakers that you turn upside down, and then it snows on the little snowman. Like the songs that take place in little snowballs that you would buy at the that you could put in a little film strip.
So each song is like shaking a little one of those snow dome things. Wow, that's a nice image. Who did the illustrations? They're really good. I mean, did you get them from old books or?
My friend Brian Dewan in New York City. He did that particular one. And then the cover is a collage that I did, which, well, I guess it's just more like an old Russian postcard that I manipulated and stuff.
And you're over here playing with Richard Davies, and you're going to be coming back in the later part of the summer, I understand, with the Olivia Tremor Control.
Yes.
To do a big tour of Europe.
Right.
And you've toured with them in the past because they're part of this big family. What will be the next stage for Neutral Milk Hotel? I mean, after that, will there be a new album? And is that the idea, that it will just keep rolling on?
Well, I sort of think that Neutral Milk Hotel, I think, will always continue. I think right now I'm more interested in sort of having the group sort of spend time, sort of roaming the world for a while before I, concern myself with making a record. Like, I want us to spend. I got like for us to take a bus down to Mexico City for a while, and then and I think after we do the tour of Europe, a few of us are going to stay in Europe and sort of try to play out in the streets and sort of wander about and try to survive that way for a while. So I'm more interested in the group sort of burrowing into each other's heads for a while, and then sort of making a new album, and take the mobile home around and that kind of thing.
And the songs you've recorded for us, can you tell us anything about the 4 songs that you've recorded today, acoustically?
Well, Gardenhead was the first part of Gardenhead was one of the first songs that I ever wrote, which was sort of written when I first dropped out of college and was living in a little shack. And this little man across the street would wake up around 6 o'clock in the evening every day and go sit out and poke his head out from behind the bushes outside and just sort of sit and stare at us while we would be inside recording until we would invite him in. And then he would happily come in and smoke bong hits all day till he passed out. And he was a very sad little man who wrote sort of atonal rock operas that no one understood, but he had these huge books of these sort of rock operas that he had all in his head, and you would go into his room full of he sort of created this little world out of garbage and sticks in his attic room, and he would have this one little lamp, and he would sit and play you these songs, and he would sort of explain to you where the orchestra would come in and there'd be a gong and everything, but he couldn't hardly play a chord, so he'd be sort of struggling that and smoking his pot. But that's just, actually it's only one line of that song, so I guess I'm sort of harping on one part of that song, but that's part of that song. And then the other half of that song was written a few years later. And then there's Engine, which is a children's song that takes place in sort of one of the little snow domes, which is a song that's unreleased. And that song's sort of like I always sort of think of, like a little New Year's Eve ball where all the little confetti's falling, like in New Orleans or something. And then the song Up Wherever We Go, or The King of Carrot Flowers, Part 3, which is a song about my old band, the Synthetic Flying Machine, and about my mother, and about living in Seattle, and about trying not to crumble when I was living there, and I was very frightened at that point in my life. And then O Comely's like 9 minutes long. It would be way too complicated to go into that here.
But we'll be hearing that later in the week. Right now, though, we're going to hear Gardenhead. And Jeff, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
There are beads that wrap around your knees that crackle to the dark, like a walk in the park, like a hole in your head, like the feeling you get when you realize you're dead. This time we ride roller coasters into the ocean, we feel no emotion as we spiral down to the world. And I guess it's worth your time, 'cause there's some lives you live and some you leave behind. It gets hard to explain. The Gardenhead knows my name. Leave me alone, for you know this isn't the first time. In fact, this is twice in a row that the angels have slipped through our landslide and filled up our garden with snow. And I don't wish to taste of your insides or to call out your name through my phone, for the glory voice at your bedside will love you as long as it's something to own. Will love you as long as it's something to own. Follow me through, say I'm frost-covered angels. I swear I have nothing to prove. I just wanna dance in your tangles to give me some reason to move. Gonna take on the world at all angles, requires the strength I can't use. So I'll meet you up high in your anger of all that is hoping and waiting for you. Of all that is hoping and waiting for you.
Neutral Milk Hotel and Gardenhead in session for XFM, and that's the first of this week's session tracks from the band. And just before that, you heard Jeff Mangum letting us give it a little insight into the wonderful world of Jeff and Neutral Milk Hotel. And if you were very astute, you'd have guessed that that conversation was actually recorded a few weeks ago when the band were in town to play with Richard Davis. And they'll be back, though. And bear in mind that poor Jeff had been up for 36 hours straight and was suffering slightly from sleep deprivation. You're listening to XFM, John Kennedy with you until 3 in the morning. And right now, I'm going to play you this week's session artists, Neutral Milk Hotel.
Okay. This is a children's song.
sweet babies crow away.
Neutral Milk Hotel and Engine, and Neutral Milk Hotel being one Jeff Mangum there on vocals and guitar in session all this week, and that was absolutely excellent. And I was talking about session tracks, and we're going to have tonight's session track from Neutral Milk Hotel. This is called Up and Over Again.
Mother in a garbage bin until I hurt myself again, oh, 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 oh. And over we go with mouths open wide and spilling snow. I will spit until I learn how to speak through the door. Sideboards creak, but I'm ever proclaiming dead dogs sing and synthetic flight machine, oh, 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 oh.
Excellent. What a treat it is to have them in session. Neutral Milk Hotel, Jeff Mangum on his own, Up and Over Again, and another track in tomorrow night's show. You're listening to XFM in session all this week on the Midnight Ramble on Neutral Milk Hotel, led by Jeff Mangum. This is tonight's track, Oh Comely.
Oh, come Your father made penises with flesh-licking ladies while he and your mother were asleep in the trailer park. Thunderous sparks from the dark of the stadiums, the music and medicine you needed for comforting. So make all your fat, fleshy fingers to moving and pluck all your silly strings and bend all your notes for me. And soft, silly music is meaningful magic. All the movements were beautiful, all in your ovaries, all of them milking with green fleshy flowers, while powerful pistons were sugary sweet machines smelling obscene. And all under the garden was all you were needing when you still believed in me. Say what you wanna say, it ain't food or hollow waste, moving your mouth to pull out all your miracles for me. And I know they buried her body with others, her sister and mother and 500 families. And will she remember me? 50 years later, I wished I could save her in some sort of time machine. Know all your enemies. Know who our enemies are. Know all your enemies. But know who our enemies are.
That's wonderful. Neutral Milk Hotel and Oh Comely, this week's session artistes. And that was Jeff Mangum on his own, recorded right here at XFM and engineered by Nick Pitts. And you can find the original version of that song on the Neutral Milk Hotel album, In an Aeroplane Over the Sea.